Hey, YouTube, it's JP Dillon. Normally I don't work on car speakers, but what I found was worth messing with, I think. Anyway, what's in the box is not what's depicted on the box. It's quite a bit older, and these are what replaced what was in the box. So, probably the next thing to do is to open said box and show you what's inside. Because what's inside is far better than what's depicted on the front. But, screw it, the box is going in the trash anyways. Trying to get this box off of here without creating a whole bunch of hassle. There we go. Yeah, if anything, I'll just reuse the styrofoam to contain them, but I don't care about the box. The box is already shredded. Let's see if we can get these off of here. Yeah, he kept the grills. I hate this. I need two hands. Yeah, so he never used the grills on the old ones, or on the new ones rather. Let's pull one of these out of here. Look at that, 80s nostalgia right there, with the square drivers. So I had to get these because they were just too cool to leave, and they didn't really cost anything, so I'm going to see if we can refoam them. They are a little crunchy though. There's some debris in the voice coil gap we got to kind of blast out. But otherwise, look at these things, man. These are cool. 80s, 90s era. I don't know. I didn't even bother to look that up yet. But one thing that's important about them is they have a paper composite cone, which in the days of injected polycones that love to rot and break into splinters in the sun, I wanted something cool from one of my old cars, because the new ones literally shatter. You give them about a couple years in the sun and they just bake. Let me show you. Yeah, here's an example of a newer set. I think I got those in 2015 or so, but you can tell that that one's just completely rotted away, and the cones just got so brittle you turn them up and they shatter. And as you can see, the driver's side didn't fare any better there, so these are coming out for sure. And there's another set, the cheapy duals from Walmart. I didn't expect these to last long, but they didn't turn out either. You can see that they're absolutely trash. But yeah, that's just what happens to these plastic injected cones. The sun gets to them and they die. So yeah, back to these guys. This one feels okay. The other one's pretty crunchy. This cone feels pretty clean. But if we yank the other one out of here, I noticed that when I pressed on the cone, it was a little crunchy. So what I usually do to solve that is we do some very brief bursts of about 150 to 200 cycle sine wave, and close to clipping, close to maxing them out. And what that does is that saturates the coil briefly, and it causes basically the magnetic flux to be disrupted just long enough for gravity to do its thing. So I'll turn them upside down to get the crust out. But yeah, after we do that, then we can focus on getting these trim rings off, which are glued down, so that's going to be a bit of a pain. I did get some replacement surrounds, and there's a fella on eBay, if I can find his name again, I'll post it in the description, but he sells butyl instead of the foam, so it should stand up a little bit more under abuse. But let me get these blasted out, and then we'll see if we can get the rings off. Yeah, so doing my little trick, pretty much got rid of the rest of the surround. And thankfully, these are just kind of lifting up. Yeah, they're not really held on with anything of significance there, so that's good. That'll help me clean this off. And I'm just going to get an X-Acto scraper and just go around the edges here and clean all this up. Let's show you what my tool of choice is for that. Let's get this out of here so I have a little more work room. Kind of excited, guys. I want to stick these in my car. And for the crummy duals, I already have another pair of speakers to replace them that are marine grade, so hopefully they'll hold up to the sun and the abuse a little bit longer. But they're modern JBLs, so I don't know. I'm not really keen on Harman stuff that's now owned by Samsung. But that's the blade I'm going to be using. A little bit worse for wear, but it's still sharp. And we'll just scrape all this off. And I'm probably going to need two hands for this, but you kind of get the idea here. I'm just going around the edge. And we're just going to scrape and clean all this off. So yeah, I'm going to need two hands. But let's remove this off the basket, and then we'll work on the underside of the cone, which is a little bit trickier. Okay, there it is with the basket cleaned off. So we just scrape this all away until it's nice and smooth. There is a little bit of rust underneath that I kind of cleaned up with some 1000 grit, just so that we have a better adhesion surface. Getting to the underside of the cone's a little bit tricky, but you can see the crusty old suspension up in there. So I have just a regular X-Acto with an angled blade like that, and we're just going to get up there and very carefully scrape all that off and make sure that it's clean, and then we can try to adhere our new surrounds to the back side of the cone there, and just on a rough test fit, looks like they're going to fit pretty well, if not perfect. But yeah, we'll just clean it up and attach them. 6x9s are usually pretty self-centering because they've got that support there for the tri-axial. Very rarely will you ever need to shim one. You can always use a small power supply voltage of about maybe 2 volts, 3 volts. But yeah, let me clean that off. Alright, well there it is, cleaned up. I can get this up here. I cleaned the back side. It's nice and pretty. It's ready for a fresh surround. So now let's see if we can fit the new surround underneath the cone. And for this we're going to be using Springfield Speakers BSC adhesive. I love this stuff. Don't get it on your skin of your clothes, it'll never come out. It's basically loaded with hexane, so it's a couple molecules from rocket fuel, but it works, and it's an excellent adhesive. So the way I'm going to approach it is just put a bead on the surround and then place it underneath the lip of the cone and wait for it to cure, and then we'll worry about attaching it to the basket. We're just going to allow gravity do its thing here. And I'm going to apply a fairly generous amount because no one's really going to see any sort of overrun. And I want it to adhere fairly well. Yeah, so we got our bead there. I have about a minute before that starts to get real tacky. So let me get 2 hands on it, and then we'll lay it down underneath the cone. Alright, so there we are. We got our surround attached to the cone and got everything cleaned up a little bit better. This was pretty finicky to try to get on here, but I did manage to do it. And it's just kind of sitting there drying. So we'll give it a little bit longer, and then once it's done drying, we'll adhere it to the basket, and then we'll scrape the remaining crud off of here, and then glue the plastic thing down. And then one of these will be ready, and then we'll have to obviously do the same with the other one. But so far this has been very straightforward. So let me wait a little bit longer for the glue to set, and then we'll glue it down to the basket. Alright, so to apply the glue, I'm just going to lift up around here, and I'm going to need two hands to do it, but I'm just going to put a bead along where the old clean out area is, and that way we can just seat it, press it down, it should be good. And then we'll work on just scraping this away and attaching this. Alright, so now that I got the glue down, I'm basically just tamping down the surround against the glue until it kind of oozes out the sides, so I know it's got a good seating. And I've had to do this on a couple passes, but I just want to make sure that the glue gets a good adhesion to the basket. I don't know if you can see it, little bits of it oozing out of the edge there. But that tells me that it's seating properly. But yeah, we're just doing this every pass until it feels like it's tamped down. Yeah, so we'll let that set up while that's drying. I'll deal with this. It's just like the basket. We just scrape away all the old crap, lay down a bead of glue, and then press it against the frame. And then our first one should be good to go. We'll just have to let it dry before we can beat on it, and then we'll test it out. Alright, so here's our trim ring all cleaned up. Let's just put a bead down here. Easy peasy. And we'll just set it down on top of our speaker here. Oh yeah. Give it a good press. I can just feel it just seated. You can see the glue coming out there where it's seated. So that's awesome. So yeah, there we go. Before and after. So now we just got to repeat the process with this one, and we should be good to go. Alright, we got the second one prepped. Let's see if we can make it look as good as the first one. Okay, we got the surround laid down. I'm just waiting for that to cure, and then we can work on the basket and work on the trim ring. And for those of you who are curious, I do have to come in here with a curved hemostat and press down on this part of the cone to get everything to kind of make sure it's seated, I guess. But yeah, this is kind of a tedious part because you want to make sure that it's absolutely attached to the cone. And then there's the little bits of debris and everything that you have to clean up while you're doing it. Alright, we got our bead of glue laid down. So I'm just pressing this down to get it to seat. And once this is all tacky and set up, then we'll do the trim ring. already starting to set up. Cool. Alright. I've already got the trim ring pre-cleaned, so it's just a matter of gluing that back down, and then these will be happy. Okay. Well, both of them are now seating up, waiting to dry. It's too bad this one had a little bit of moisture damage or whatever, but they were free, so whatever. I'm not going to complain about it. I'm only in it about maybe $40 between the parts and the adhesive, so cheaper than the junk you buy at Walmart. And the junk you buy at Walmart doesn't last. I don't know how old these are. I'm going to guess sometime in the 90s based on the badging and the style. Maybe somebody else has an idea. I haven't looked them up yet. But I'm going to hook them up to an amp and see how they sound. Now, obviously, I'm only going to be able to have a second or two. And you can tell me, because obviously copyright police. I don't have any non-royalty music yet. But this one has a full range. Both mid-range and tweed will work. Let's see if the other side does here. Yep. So that makes me happy that both of those work correctly. They'll sound much better in a car, but that's for after they're done curing. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We got some parts on order for the Magnavox and some interesting findings with the horizontal sweep, so that's coming up. Anyways, thanks for watching. More stuff to come.